Robert.
Yo, what's shaking AC?
All right. Well, what is shaking? What is
You
shaking?
were just at Springboard, right?
I was, yeah.
And you had a panel there too.
I did.
And how did that panel go?
Well, let me tell you, it was fun. Um, so I did something a little different. I had the panelists, and there were four, and especially because like that's a big panel. Four people, by the way, all women, which is kind of interesting because typically if it's an all women panel, it's marketing, and it wasn't. Our topic was on coaching franchisees out of working in the day to day of their business to becoming business owners, thinking about growth and knowing how to do that. So, yeah, it was really cool to have four very, you know, experienced franchise women in, I'll just quickly name them: Clarissa Bradstock from Any Lab Test Now, Angela Olia from Assisted Home Locators. Oh my gosh, I might have said that a little bit wrong, but hopefully not. Assisted Living Locators. She's gonna hate me for this, but and Diane Davis, Happy and Healthy, and Amy Lawhorn from Ultra Pool Care Squad. And so what I did is I had each of them share. I said, if imagine you were sitting in the audience right now, and you were trying to learn about this topic of, getting franchisees out of their day-to-day operations to work on their business. What have you learned that you would wish someone had told you, or at least that you had listened to, that you could use right now?
Okay.
So, well, okay. Well, I was just telling you what you asked how it was. So I was just
Okay.
telling you what we did. And so it was a little different because usually you just ask a bunch of questions and things. And I don't know. I thought, because there's limited time, let's get that key message out of each of them. So I can share a few of the kind of
I
key
would
takeaways.
love that. I would love that. I think any franchisor listening to it would love it because there's always a franchisee that, needs to get out of working in their business and work on their business. And it's a struggle. They all have those intentions, when they first sign up, but it's very easy to just get back to mopping the floor.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I think before I share a couple of those, like the takeaways or the messages that were shared, first thing I did do is let's make sure we think about why that happens. Because if you don't know why it's happening, me, my new favorite line: if you can name it, you can tame it. And if you're addressing the wrong problem, then it might not fix the problem. So, just quickly, what do you think? Actually, what do you think? What
Well,
is
I mean, I could tell you why that happens to me.
okay?
Like I'm a bit of a completionist. To me, everything needs to be completed. If I'm collecting something, I need the entire collection, right? So when I sit down at my computer and I have tasks or emails, naturally my mind goes, I need to complete these tasks and I need to get through these emails, and I won't be happy until that's complete. Well, when I see this massive task list, that dopamine hit or whatever you get happens from checking them off, right? So naturally I go to the easier ones, the ones I could check off faster. Even at
Mhm.
home, right? If you have a task to take out the garbage, and then you have a task to go grocery shopping, well, taking out the garbage could take 5 minutes, while going grocery shopping could take a couple hours. So I'll take out the garbage, even though grocery shopping is more important because you need food. And so for me, that's how I get stuck in the business rather than on the business. I'm
That's a good
craving
one.
that dopamine hit of completion and getting things checked off. And
Mm,
I overlook the fact that some of this stuff isn't important.
that's a great one. So that aligns with. So we did a bit of a debrief yesterday at the field coach roundtable, and one of the things that got brought up is that, again, speaking to why it happens, is the franchisee, and we did talk on the panel a little bit about this too, that the franchisee goes to work doing what they're comfortable doing, and also because it feels productive to check that thing off. So I guess it's that dopamine thing, right? It's like I know right now, like I have maybe I have a free hour. Well, I might as well go do some mopping, like you referred to earlier, mopping, like just because I can feel good about doing it. And another thing is sometimes people think, well, role models to the staff that I'm in there with them. I'm doing the work they're doing. But as a leader, they need to get out of that. And because if they keep doing that, they're not going to grow the business. So yeah, it's good to go mop the floor once in a while and show that. But yeah, so those are a couple of reasons. Fear, fear comes from not having enough money. They think, well, I better work in the business because I'm afraid to pay the staff instead, or I'm afraid that if I'm not here, they're going to screw it up. So those are other reasons. So anyway, let's assume we know then that there's some reasons why people get stuck in the day-to-day. One of my favorite takeaways came from Diane Davis, and it was that she's like, I didn't realize it wasn't going to happen organically, that they would become like a business owner and have this business owner mindset. Like I don't think she even realized that they needed to go from one to the other, but I think she just saw it in her past tenure with Just Between Friends, where, okay, the franchisees now figured out how to operate the business. We kind of think, well, now they're going to go figure out how to grow it and step out of it by getting other people leading and stuff. But that doesn't typically happen organically. So that was a big takeaway, I thought, to recognize that. And then the action steps around that are to figure out then, okay, how am I going to make it happen? What am I going to do? A couple examples she gave were having them do mentoring, like peer to that one we hear a lot. It sounds sort of obvious, but it's getting the more established franchisees in the system to mentor the newer ones, or not necessarily the newer ones, but the ones that need to get out of the day-to-day. Another action step, lunch and learns, book club, having them read like The Wealthy Franchisee by Scott Greenberg. So there were some cool action steps. So I'll pause because I've been saying a lot, but that was really good stuff to hear.
Yeah, I agree on that. And sometimes the action steps are the hardest ones, especially for somebody who's coaching, because it's really easy for you to think of those action steps, whether you're a founder or whatever, or you're just a coach, like an employee of a franchisor. You could think of these things. But in order to get somebody to do them, especially if you're doing your coaching over Zoom, you've got to convey the passion and the leadership and like the confidence for them to have that courage and go in and do that, right? You can't just say, okay, it's time to work on your business, and then be like, okay, and then you go, well, here's your tasks, this is what you should do when you leave them. So I mean, I would think that the most fruitful way to do that, although it's not always the most possible, is to do it with them. Like if you have a franchisee that's close, say, hey, listen, we're going to sit together for 3 days in an office, and we're just going to do our stuff. You're going to do yours, I'm going to do mine. We're going to collaborate.
Or go out into the field, like if it's right, like in that 3 days, go out and talk to other business owners to show them and shadow and role model, right?
Yeah, and you show them through those means that despite whether what you're working on is easy or difficult, that cadence of working on that stuff is actually easy. Oh, well, that's all I needed to do is just sit down and get to it. You know what I mean? Now, if you're far away from this franchisee, then when you get onto a coaching call, it's not just about, okay, let's plan your. It's not just you need to have a marketing calendar. Just take a calendar, pick out all the holiday dates, know how far in advance you need to market. That's not how it works. You got to open up the marketing calendar with them and do it with them. Because just giving instructions or just being a helping ear is, frankly, a waste of money for the franchisor.
Well, I felt that as a franchisee, that when my field coach, they would, I'll say this a different way. A field coach often feels like you get on the call with a franchisee, the franchisee starts spewing at all their challenges and the field coach wants to be able to help them. So they instead of saying, hold on a minute, we should talk about the growth, like the things you're doing to grow your business, not how to fix your POS system right now, which you could have just called the POS support for that. But the field coach gets so excited to help them and be able to help them. And it helps their ego because they helped someone. The franchisee feels better, but in the end, it wasn't really the right thing to do because it doesn't lead to growth. So
yeah, 100% agree. But
it's a challenge all around. We got to wrap it up now.
Yeah.
It's time.
3, 2,
like that.
1. Go be awesome.